Hi and welcome back. How are you doing? Okay, so we know now that our head's being controlled by that piece, so that's cool. What I need to do now is work on some more bits with the head here. Probably going to be easier if I keep everything open while I do it. And I'm going to bring down these polygons here. Now, with any luck, it won't ruin what I've been working on. Doing editing of the polys now, so I prefer having things nice and easy to control as well. Okay, I'm just going to bring that into there like so, and then bring this up, down rather, to there, and back, like that, and I'm going to attach a piece onto there in just a moment. Okay, I'm just going to move this back piece here. So I think I'll just use a chamfer for that. Then I can round it. There we are. And I'm going to go in there, select these two edges, here and here, just do a very small inset. Tick. Now I want my subdivision, so stick on open subdiv, see how that's looking. Press F4. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay, there's some mess on the inside of this. It's going to need cleaning up, so I'll just bin that while I fix it. You probably can't see it too well, but trust me, it isn't very good at the moment. So I'll put a swift loop just there and there. There. Just need to strengthen these edges so they're not all round and soggy. I mean, you can make round soggy edges if you want, it's just it's not what I'm after at the moment. So okay, that should do it. Now I'll stick on open subdiv again. And we should have a much firmer, harder looking line on the inside, as we do. There we go, much better. Okay, now if I go over here, and I can see there's a couple of error-filled spaces that I'd really like to clean out if I can. You see where this is just tapering off to nothing, and that one's tapering off to nothing, which doesn't really fill me with joy. Let's just have a look and see if there's a way I can sort this out. Now that one I can, so what I can do is just go to my cut tool, if I can ever find it again. There it is. Cut from there to there. And if I go around the other side, it's probably exactly the same. Now, this bit, just here, is a teeny weeny bit more tricky. So I don't really want to break my model, if you know what I mean. Right, so I'm going to ring this, and it goes all the way over to there, and then I'm going to put a connect in it. Not once, twice. Because there's no curves there, so I don't really need to worry about it ruining the shape of my model as such. There's my cut there. And there. From here to here. Make sure that the cursor is obviously the teeny little crosshair, and then you'll know you've got it right. Okay, that'd be good. Now if I stick on open subdiv, it should be a lot less messy. There, that's much better. think one open subdivision should be enough on this. So I'll collapse this after turning off my ISO line display. That means I can stick another one on if I need to. Convert to editable poly. There we go. Many millions of polygons later. Now down here, if you remember, I was starting to build something and then stopped briefly. That's because I'm going to start building it again now. Standard object. Cylinder. I'm just going to build one for the moment and bring it out from here. Okay, right click, convert to editable poly, and I'll just grow it and delete the back off. Sorry I'm not using the key view tool, it crashes and it seems to be quite heavily resource thingy bob, so I'm just not going to use it. And what I'm doing is I'm just creating a good shape here that I can attach a hose to. And just making it so that when I apply a smooth to this it doesn't basically collapse the model. There we go. So I've got this shape here. Now out of this I'm going to build the nose, what travels over there to that. So for that to work, I need to take this and decide where I'm going to have it go to. So I'm going to be very careful in how this comes out as well. And then I think this could be fine. There and there. And what I'm going to need to do obviously is get some dummies or whatever for these. I usually use dummies simply because I can move them around without having to move the pivots of these. But I mean, I could move the pivots, I suppose, just use these without dummies. In fact, I'll do that this time just for the sheer novelty value of not having done it in this tutorial. So if I go here, hit F3, grab this and this, I'll just move it to there, like that. Then I go down here, find this one, just hiding, see, get the pivot, bring it to there, like that. Now I need to make 2 copies of these, so grab this and just mirror them as a copy. Drop in perspective. F3 so I can see what I'm doing better. There we go. So now these are in the right place and we can see that the hose is hopefully going to travel from here to here. Although, to be fair, hoses tend to be kind of, I don't know, trying to think of the best way of describing the problem with the hoses. Well, they go in a straight line between A and B. That's the easiest way to describe the problem, I suppose. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is grab this and this, and I am going to put these onto this mesh here, so they're all linked up in a skeleton. And in the same way, these are going to be linked up to this one. This is also going to be linked up to this one, by the way. Actually, these shouldn't be linked to that. These should be linked to this. And you're thinking, well, why is that? It's because these, you know, then I can like rotate it. See? Now, remember, I don't have these ends here linked to anything either. So if I just check them. 1, 2, 3. The thing about the way I teach, I think, which kind of some people tend to kind of pull me on, and some people prefer, is that I don't go through it and do like, chapter 1 we're going to learn how to use the bevel tool. What I do is project-based tutorials, and so we tend to go back to stuff a few times, so, you know, sorry. Right then, next up I'm going to pull a box, because I need a hose. There's one. Now I can build my hose on top of the box, which will be a dynamics object. No, that's dampers. Be extended is the hose. Like that. And I'm going to make a copy of it. Actually, I'll make a copy of it once I'm done, because if I make a copy of it, it'll keep the same settings. So, down here, I shall... No, you're still there. Get my hose, and it's going to be bound to object pivots. My bottom object will be this one, and my top object will be this one, and now mayhem. Right, now pivots need to be moved quite obviously, so if I go here and change my pivot, making sure I've got angle snap on, 90 degrees that away. And again with this one, same thing, 90 degrees. So now the hose isn't, you know, all grim and awful. Now turn off effect pivot only. Go back to my modify panel just here. Now I don't want flex sections enabled because I can do that myself. For segments, that's not important. The tension is, however, so let's have 15 on that one and 15 on that one as a starter. And then I can see how much is going to be like working and how much isn't. As you can see, it's kind of cutting through there a little bit. Let's see what a tension of about 30 is going to look like. Let's let autosave do its bit first. Durst. Right, so see, that's giving it slightly more at the back. Still not ideal, but what we could do is get the pivot point then and kind of bring the pivot point forward a bit. Not you, here. So that it's literally just on the outside of it. Same here. Like that. Suddenly my middle mouse button appears to have decided to stop working, which means I now have to do things the long way. Thanks 3ds Max, I might need to pick up a new Razer mouse tomorrow. Okay, so have a look at that, and that's not too bad. There's some intersecting going on there, but to be honest, I've seen worse, besides which I can use an FFD on that piece if needed. So if I come over here to this, and now rather than using the tension, I'm going to change my segments on it. So it's a round hose, I'll have a diameter of 22 because I want it smooth. There, now my middle mouse button's working again, so go figure. And then it stopped. Why? Oh, give in. Right, so the diameter actually looks completely fine, which is just bizarre. Okay, now I'm going to drop an edit to poly on this, because as you know, that's the way I tend to operate with these ones. And now I can grab this edge here and do a ring. Now I'm going to deselect that end, come round, hit F3, deselect that end as well. Okay, because I'm just going to copy this, it's going to be easier. Oh, interesting. Clicking and pushing to the left on my mouse button works. Okay, now I'm going to loop it, and I'm going to do an extrude. Now for this one I need to work on the width first. Don't want it too wide. Then I'm going to bring it down, but not too far. Let's have a look. A little bit less. There we go. So that's 0.468 as an extrude down. So if I go to my chamfer and change that to 0.4 and click tick, we now have that shape. Now on top of that, if I stick an open subdiv, and I'm going to pin that to the top of the stack, like so. Okay, so that's working pretty darn nice. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab that, that, and that, and what I need to do is just mirror them. So click mirror, click OK. In my top view, and I'm going to get rid of the bits that I'm replacing. Now bear in mind there's a lot of processing going on now for 3ds Max, okay? So it's going to start chugging a little bit, so be wary of that. Okay, look at perspective, hit F3, zoom, and you can see where it's going to be connecting in, so I'll just push that in. Like I say, remember, as I'm moving it, it's becoming quite an intensive little piece. Okay, so I'm going to make sure these are bound again. So get my hoses, select and link those to there. My hose here and here, select and link, move it to there. Okay, so that's looking good. Now over here in my left hand viewport, zoom, I'm going to do an FFD. So FFD 4x4x4, and it's 4x4, so I've got most control. I'm going to use my select tool, just grab here, get that there, and then bring this down a bit. Okay, and if I drop back in perspective now and just check it out, we can see that it's now no longer touching that part, which is cool. I can now convert that to an editable poly, and it should be okay. I need to pin the stack. So make sure this is going to work. I'm also going to apply some smooths to these. I could apply an open subdiv, but I think I'll just stick with a smooth on this. Okay. That didn't seem to do much, did it? Oh, I see, it's gone over the top of the open subdiv. Fine. Unpinning the stack. It looks like I accidentally pinned the stack wrongly there, so go round, get these, and just apply the open subdiv to them. Okay, before I do, these are inside out, as you can tell from this, so I'll just ditch that again and select this one, flip all its polys. You won't see much of a difference, however it's now no longer inverted because it was mirrored. Do the same here. And then with this one, down to edit poly, select all of it. And then click flip. This one's still inside out, unfortunately, so I think I'm going to have to delete that one. And instead what I'm going to do is just copy this entire piece here, like that. It'll spring back to the first place it was at, not to worry about that though, because what I'm going to do is just go back to the hose part at the bottom, pick my top object, pick my bottom object, And then I just need to change the pivots on these, because as you can see they're currently in the wrong direction. So I'll go over here. Oh. 180. And then again down here. There we go. Lovely. Okay, so we now have these, and if I go over to here, I'm going to click on my open subdivision at the top and just pin my stack there and there. Okay, so that part's now done, and I'm ready to move on to detailing the head next.